weekend. Florida schools are about to get quite a windfall from Tallahassee, $1 billion in new funding. It's part of a drive by Governor Rick Scott and the state's legislature to build a high-quality workforce. But wouldn't you know, it doesn't come without a catch. Bay News 9's Capitol reporter Troy Kinsey explains why some homeowners here will be footing the bulk of that bill.
For Governor Scott, there's no bigger priority.
I think we ought to do a round of applause. There's a lot of teachers standing up here, a lot of people in education.
After cutting public education by more than $1 billion only 2 years ago, now he's approved a $1 billion increase, including more money for high-performing teachers.
We balanced the budget, we paid down state debt, we cut taxes, cut regulation, and it worked. And now we have the wherewithal to make more investments.
Well, not exactly. New state figures show to afford that $1 billion education funding hike, 20 Florida counties are being forced to hike their property taxes. From Hillsborough to Polk, Pasco to Osceola, the school portion of the average homeowner's tax bill is about to go up $20 to $30 a year. You learn pretty early on in school there's no such thing as a free lunch, but to hear it from critics, lawmakers just don't get it. For years now, state government's had a hard time coming up with its own lunch money.
It's definitely passing the buck.
Mark Pudlow with the State Teachers Union points out a decade ago, Tallahassee covered 60% of the public education budget. But today,
it's under 50% now, and it's going the other way. And it's kind of part of a trend not only in education but elsewhere for the legislature to tell local governments what to do and not necessarily pay for it.
He says paying for it could be as simple as closing tax loopholes that tend to benefit the wealthy, but instead property taxes are going on the rise. Many lawmakers call it a sacrifice homeowners ought to be willing to make for Florida schools, but willing or not, when the tax man comes knocking, they'll have to pay up. In Tallahassee, Troy Kinsey, Bay News 9.
Of those 20 counties being forced to hike their taxes, most are situated along the coast and are home to more expensive than average properties. By contrast, property taxes in 47 counties are set to go down. A new charter school is in the works for Hillsborough County, and it would be on MacDill Air Force Base. Our partners at the Times report that